Hi guys, it's Nika, and today I will be creating a purple sim for a little Pride collab. This collab was organized by Tilzy Crossan here on YouTube. So make sure to check her out and make sure to check all the other people who are doing this collab. I will link them in the description and I will link them in the video as well. I'm not sure if it's a good idea for me to say their names because I know I would mess up. I always mess up when I'm trying to say people's usernames. I don't know what it is, but it happens every single time. I'm sorry. So they will be linked in the description. Again, make sure to check them out. And yeah, so what is this collab about? Well, each one of us picked a color from the pride flag and made a sim in that color, basically. I chose the color purple and I would like to tell you something more about it because I don't know if you know, I'm sure you do, but just in case you don't, every single color on the pride flag represents something, and in general, colors have meanings, right? So the purple on the pride flag represents spirit, and it is often thought of as a regal royal color that on its own denotes pride. It is considered a calming color that connects us to the spiritual realm. And outside of the pride stuff, the color purple is also associated with a lot of other meanings, which include wisdom, creativity, power, ambition, and luxury. It can also represent magic, extravagance, independence, and wealth. But pride isn't just about pretty colors and celebrations, and it's not just all fun. It is also an amazing time to spread awareness, to learn something about our history, about queer history. I was thinking for a long time about what I could talk about in this video, because obviously queer history was the first thing that came to my mind, because queer history is important and I feel like maybe now more than ever we should be aware of it, aware of what it took to come here and what struggles we have faced in the past. But when it comes to queer history, I always think of big events that happened in like the United States or maybe the United Kingdom. And I feel like it's not really my place to talk about those countries because, as you know, I'm not American, I'm not British. I am, however, Czech. And I thought, you know what? I feel like for a lot of people it could be interesting to learn about how queer rights are in a completely different country, in a small European country that a lot of people still call by its old name. It is no longer Czechoslovakia. It's been 30 years. Forget the name Czechoslovakia when you talk about current Czech Republic. No, I'm sorry, I went off topic here. But yeah, so I would like to tell you something about how queer rights are in my country, how we're doing, how we got here. It won't be like a super extensive queer history lesson, just a few things that I was able to gather after a very short Google search. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, there's not much of the history part. I messed that up, but never mind. Let's just talk about queer rights here. So, interestingly, my country is often considered the most progressive former Eastern Bloc country when it comes to LGBTQ rights. However, we still don't have same-sex marriage. We could have been first. It for a long time looked like we would be first, but then our politicians just kept delaying it and coming up with stupid arguments why we shouldn't have same-sex marriage. And now Slovenia, I think, has same-sex marriage. Estonia just passed a bill that will allow it, and next year Estonian people will be allowed to have same-sex marriage. So yeah, we won't be first, but maybe we will be third, because the bill that would make it legal is currently being discussed by the parliament. So please, fingers crossed, manifest, pray for us, whatever you do, please use your queer powers to make this bill pass, because it's going to be really difficult. We have quite a conservative government right now. The parliament is really conservative. It's really gonna be a miracle if it passes. And if it doesn't pass, please give me enough power to not throw the conservatives out of the window. For legal reasons, this is a joke. I would never throw anyone out of the window, I think. You know what? Better not test it, okay? Let's pass this bill. Let's just pass it. Let's not test me. Because who knows, maybe I am capable of throwing someone out of the window. Homosexuality was decriminalized in Czechoslovakia in 1962 after scientific research by Kurt Freund led to conclusion that sexual orientation can't be changed. In 1990, the age of consent was equalized to 15, just like how it is for straight sex here. Previously, it was 18 for when you were gay, which is an interesting piece of information that I learned just before recording this video. So, as I already said, we don't have same-sex marriage yet. However, there is still some legal recognition of same-sex couples, and that is something that we call registered partnership. We've had this since 2006, but bills to allow something like this had been proposed since 1998, and they had been rejected 4 times before it actually finally passed. So, when you're in a registered partnership, it's sort of like a gay marriage, isn't it? Well, yes, but actually no, not at all. There is actually a lot of differences between a registered partnership and marriage. For example, if your partner has a child, you cannot adopt that child. Now, imagine if something happens to your partner and they will not be able to take care of the child anymore. Legally, you're basically a stranger to the child. You have no special rights towards them. And it doesn't matter that the child sees you as their parent as well. You're a stranger to them, according to laws, which is pretty fucked. Unfortunately, this is how it is right now, and really just passing that bill about the same-sex marriage would help. A lot of time, conservatives are like, think of the children. Well, this would help a lot of children. Hello, why haven't we passed this yet? Not to mention that the support for the same-sex marriage pretty much grows year after year here. There is about 67% of support for that. Obviously, the number is higher among the younger people, as well as definitely there's more younger people who identify as some letter of the LGBTQ. So yeah, Czech Parliament, please take that into consideration. We are more than ready for same-sex marriage and for further progress for queer rights here. Because really I talked about the marriage here because that's like a thing that's being discussed right now a lot. But there is so much more going on. Trans people here deserve better. They deserve an easier transition. Right now, that process is hell. I don't have enough time to talk about it, so I will just link some stuff, so if you're interested in that, you can read about it. And yeah, there is so much I would like to talk about, but I don't have time for it, so maybe some other time. I didn't even get to talk about the sim. Oh my god, so this is Ames Periwinkle. They use she/they pronouns, and yeah, they're not a real fairy, but they're like a little pride queer fairy, I don't know, and they really remind me of my sibling. This was not intentional, but they have the same vibe as my sibling, so kind of a fun fact at the end. But yeah, oh my god, I thought I had more time in this video and it passed by so fast. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I will see you all next time. I love you guys, bye everyone, and don't forget to check out the other parts of this collab. Bye!